What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a look at Capcom's new game Exoprimal here on the Steam Deck, and I've been looking forward to this game, though I will say I have a lot of mixed feelings about it after playing it a little bit here. I'm a sucker for dino games, but it's not quite what I was looking for, but I'll give it a little bit more time and mess with it. I've been playing it a lot here on the Ally, the deck, and on my PC. But let's get into the Steam Deck here, look at the settings and the performance we're getting for Exoprimal. And we are very CPU bound in this game, especially during gameplay. And there's no 16:10 ratio support here, so even at 800p you'll have those gray boxes on your screen. I'm going to be using a low preset mostly here. It seems to be what's working the best for me, which leaves a few settings at medium, which helps that CPU a little bit. FSR does not help us in this game very much unless you're in an area where the CPU happens to catch up. It's very inconsistent, and it looks very bad in this game, at least so far. So let's go ahead and get into it here. Exoprimal, and most of the time with this game you're like 30s to 40s for your FPS with these settings depending on what you're doing. And again, if you're looking at the stats here, you can see we're not able to push that GPU all the way up, and we're CPU bound basically all the time. It's hovering in the high 60s, 70s. When it gets up to like 80%, you see a big drop under 30 FPS. It just is what it is. This game's wanting a lot more CPU than what's here. I haven't been a fan of the 4-core 8-thread in a while. I prefer at least 6-core if you're going gaming, and 8's better. But it is a CPU bound situation here, so FSR doesn't gain us much, neither does lowering settings. Actually, we don't have a lot of settings in this game to go through, and the ones we do have are GPU intensive, so if anything, you want to crank those up just a little bit to increase performance rather than lower them so the CPU has time to catch up. Now, one good thing is, though, our frame times stay nice. I mean, there's not a lot of stutter in the game, and the frame times stay pretty good. And if we switch over here to FSR on quality, it is very blurry. I mean, performance is worse, balance is worse. This is quality. And in this area here, we get a little higher FPS anyway because we don't have as many dinos on screen and everything, but you only gain a couple FPS here and there when the CPU kind of catches up. But when it doesn't, you get the same FPS as no FSR here, but man, the image quality is so much better and worth it. I'm not going to bother with FSR in this game. I'm probably going to stick with the low preset. I might tick up a couple of those GPU intensive settings a little bit more, but for the most part, this is what you're going to be stuck with when it comes to your performance on the Steam Deck. Now, I did experiment a little bit and turn those other settings down all the way to low. I assumed this would make my performance worse because these are more GPU intensive settings, and indeed it pretty much does. When I lowered the settings even more and we settled into things, I was rarely able to get up into the higher 30s or 40s like I was. It mostly was a good bit lower, even whether it's chaotic or not. It's just the way things are here, and you'll see our GPU usage often is lower this way. Of course, we've lowered those GPU intensive settings, but we really want to keep some pressure on there. We want to up GPU settings and give that CPU some time, because you can see here it is running a little worse as we lowered those settings. So I would recommend leaving those up there. If you go with the low preset, leave those other GPU intensive settings on medium. I didn't really spend a lot of time with it, but I did switch over to the medium preset, just messing around a little bit. And since I've recorded this, I've done a little of that as well. Not a big difference. Sometimes you gain a little because you're putting more pressure on the GPU side, and sometimes you don't. It just kind of depends. I mean, you can tweak a little bit, but the point is you're kind of stuck playing this game from 30 to 45 or so FPS most of the time, regardless of what you do here. So that's just kind of the nature of how this game's running on the Steam Deck, and we just don't have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to the settings and pushing more out of it here, at least not so far. Maybe they'll do some updates to the game that could help out. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you're checking out this game, and what kind of performance you get or what kind of recommendations. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.